You feel like an adversary to me, and I need that to change.
Here's the thing. I did start uncovering some of this stuff when I was at Teal. But I had stuff I didn't need to uncover.
The level of fucking judgment you have on me being a narcissistic bitch, you're a fucking absolute loser. Always will be.
Girl, I don't know how it got worse. I don't understand how it got worse. But before we get into this and we talk about this, hey friend, how you doing? I know it's been not a long time. Are you proud of me or what? That is on August 2023. It's our year. It's our year. Also, have you followed me on my TikTok, my Twitter, or my Instagram? No. Then you can't be mad at me for my sporadic posting schedule because I let y'all know beforehand on those platforms. Also, I post every day there, so definitely go check me out there. And again, like I said in the last video, I'm not accepting any of your resentment for me talking too much. If you want to get a word in, bitch, I suggest you comment because that's what it's for. But for real, the comments on the last video, it was great. Also, if you're saying the last video, girl, this is part 2. You need to go to part 1. Oh, I'm sorry. I called you girl. They, boy, you need to go to part 1 because you're not going to understand anything in this video. Also, be sure to subscribe and put post notifications on because we all know what type of girly I am. Sporadic.
This is an ADHD session. I have an executive dysfunction disorder.
I'm not going to remember to post every day. All right, so now let's get into the video. The last time that we left Miss Swan, I hate saying that because I feel like I'm talking about Bella.
Where the hell have you been, Loca?
She was having a weird back and forth with Juliana. There was a weird type of, I don't know, power dynamic going on between her and her best bud, Blake. And it was all just giving narc. Let's be for real. I told you, cannot be biased after knowing all that information, but I am going to give you all the facts. So part 3 is called the carousel, but I named this part not quite right. The pieces are not lining up. Tetris is being played wrong. This episode starts out with the thing that we've been focusing on throughout the documentary, the completion process. And here we're seeing a role play take place. Now, there's 3 people, the person who the role play is taking place on, and then there's somebody playing the father and the son, and somebody playing the mother. I think why I'm bringing this up, it's not really a huge part in the documentary. It's just the beginning. It's not really a huge part in this episode. It's just the beginning. But I think what kind of rubs me the wrong way here is the fact that the person who's playing the father and the son tells the woman who is going through the completion process and the role play is about, essentially, that she felt like there was abuse going on towards the son, and that the son like felt unloved and all of these different feelings. And this woman has a complete and utter breakdown because she's like, I don't want to see my parents as bad people. I don't want to see them as abusers, but obviously they are, and I have to come to terms with it. And it was just, I obviously don't know all the information that these people who are doing the role play were given to kind of come to that conclusion. But I feel like that's the type of thing you come to, not somebody else tells you and then you have to come to terms with it. But that could just be me. So then we meet Sabrina. Sabrina is a regular attendee of the completion processes, which take place like for 2 weeks at a time, every couple months, I guess. I'm not 100% sure on that. But she's been coming trying to deal with her trauma and her pain and her abuse from her parents. And she even states that Teal had told her at first that her parents didn't love her and she resisted it. But Teal is psychic, Teal is special. So, of course, at the end of the day, she ended up believing Teal. Here's the thing. Okay, I was gonna continue on, but here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing about this. We don't know what this girl said to Teal for Teal to say, yeah, your parents are abusive. And if we're believing Teal's backstory 100,000%, everything in it is true, then I guess Teal would have prior knowledge and experience to recognize what abuse is and what an abusive parent may look like, right? It's just that it's always a big shock with Till because these people never have an inkling. They don't even remember sometimes the abuse that they're going through. And then Till has to tell them, and it takes them forever to come to terms with this, that either their parent, their sister, their brother, anybody who was part of their support system was abusive and is not good for them, and they have to cut them out of their life. And now it's like you don't have your support system anymore, so you just fall deeper into this hole of loneliness and pain. And the only person who can help you is Teal. Teal is the only person that you can go to. And it's just weird, and it's a reoccurring pattern. Just watch out. Because she told this girl that her parents were abusive and she needed to rebuild her life and live in her truth, this girl literally moved out of her house, lives by herself, has no communication with her family, with her parents, with nobody. She's been depressed, and she attempted suicide literally a couple months before not even a couple months, a couple weeks before she went to the retreat. And then she went to the retreat and she told Teal that, and she's like, you told me my life was going to get better, and it's not. And Teal's like, your life is better. And she literally says, that's bullshit. My life is not better. And if nothing changes on this trip, y'all ain't gonna see me no more. And it's not like y'all ain't gonna see me, I'm not gonna pay to come here. It's like nobody's gonna see me. I'm going to leave, if you catch what the fuck I'm saying. So this girl is literally in the room having a whole breakdown. People are trying to comfort her. Even Juliana goes in there and she's speaking to her and talking to her and asking her like what they can do to help them. Basically, the girl is like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. Just let me leave. And they don't want to let her leave because they're worried. And this is the part that really messes me up, okay? Teal and her whole group, they're having like a conference about what they should do about this girl, because this girl is really suicidal and they don't want to let her go because they're obviously worried about her. But at the same time, Teal is more worried about Teal, because Teal is having this meeting and it's not about how can we help her. It's like, when I see cases like this, I don't want to touch them, because then it's like, oh, she goes home and she does that. And then they're like, what is the first thing they say? Oh, but she was at a Teal conference beforehand. And it's like, people want me to stay away from her, stay away from this. And this is why. This is just going to give more flame to my haters. And it's like, Teal.
How is this going to affect me? How is this going to affect my brand? How is this going to affect what I can do and the money that I can make?
And all of this, and the more people I can help, and all of this. Like, the people you can help, okay, fine, whatever. That's kind of selfless. But it's really just about her, when it should be about Sabrina, who's in the room bawling her eyes out, talking about she wants to leave. She wants to dock her card out and never, she wants to clock her card out and never clock the fuck back in. Why are you talking about yourself? You should be worried about her. How are you going to help her? Do we need to get an actual trained professional in here to help this girl? You remember in the last video how she kept having these one-on-ones with people, but it was her and her own entourage. So these people had to talk about their feelings and open up to not just one person, which is Teal, who I can understand if they would have an easier time opening up to her because they're watching her videos. They have a general connection with her. There's even if it's a parasocial relationship, Teal does advice and help videos. So they would feel like they know her and that she can help them. But no, they have to sit in front of a whole fucking audience. Start all over. You're getting upset. So it's never just her and the person. It's always her and her entourage. And when I say entourage, I mean there's about 5 or 6 people. So not only does this person have to bare their soul and dig deep and try to really get to the root of their trauma with somebody that maybe they have a parasocial relationship that they feel like help them, because Teal makes self-help, and no matter what I'm saying or what anybody else saying, people find it helpful, okay? So they know her in a sense, and so it's easy for them to open up to her. But why do they have to then open up to people that they don't know? Even though this is your team, this is the people that you trust the most. I don't know them. I don't trust them. I don't watch their videos. I watch you. I know you. I trust you.
Are you dumb?
I think she's dumb. I think she's dumb. Are you, like, medically speaking?
So she's trying to make this girl live her trauma in front of her and her entourage. And the girl is like, no, I don't want to talk about my pain. I don't want to open up. She doesn't want to go through life like this. That's basically what she's saying. So then they do this cut back to Teal and her whole group of people having the conversation about Sabrina. And I feel like this conversation had to have happened before the conversation, but they kind of edited it in a weird way to make it feel like after Teal got nowhere with this girl, then she rants about her. And already, I don't feel like they needed to do that. They just did that to make her seem more self-obsessed. And in the first rant, we felt like she was, at least I felt like she was self-obsessed. But Teal goes on this rant about how she has haters and this is just gonna give fire to her haters. And she's like, I have haters because I wear heels, because I have a JJ, because I charge $5,000 for a private event when people think I should do it for free, because I'm a female and I have powers and I have opinion and I have power. And like, of course your daughter wanted to end herself. Did you read her journal? No, you're gonna read her journal afterwards, but before that you're gonna blame me. And she's like, and I help people deal with the pain because I'm going to make them look into a mirror. They have to. I don't care. I'm going to make them do it. And Juliana is like, you can't force people to want to deal with it. Sabrina doesn't want to deal with it and you can't force them. And Teal gets so silent. She looks Juliana in her eyes and she's like, you literally crossed the line and now we have problems. And all Juliana was trying to say was, it doesn't work that way. You can't force somebody to get help and to help themselves if they don't want to help themselves. Which is 100% true, by the way. So finally, I guess Sabrina is open to trying to deal with her trauma in a different way. So they do something called water breath. Now, water breath is actually a common practice used in therapy where people are trained and go to school and practice behind other therapists. It's used in the traditional and spiritual sense. And in this scene, they made it seem like she waterboarded Sabrina. I can 100% give that to her because even when I watched the scene, because I know what the exercise is, I was like, they did her dead dirty with that editing. They should have never done that. And then at the end, they do this weird thing where like she's laying on one of the lawn chairs by the pool after it's done, and she's like looking up at Teal and she's like kind of out of it and she's like, I love you. And it's kind of like they made it seem like, oh yeah, now you have a new cult member. You completed your brainwash completion. So from there, the documentary kind of cut and we get to kind of watch the private investigator who gets to meet with Jake again. And Jake is talking about like the outer circle is very much self-help, but the inner circle is very cultish. He said he thought that his grandparents SA'd him and his parents did as well. Until had him like questioning everything. He cut ties with his family. He cut ties with his wife. He started paying child support. But then when he started to question the things that she said had happened to him, they didn't make any sense. And that's when he was like, oh no, I gotta leave. And then he said that basically, I'm going to summarize his words. He said Teal was a narc. He said Teal was giving narcissist because Teal had to be the most important thing and her cause had to be the most important thing. Her mission was too important and her pain is too great. That was the thing that he said. And that nothing was more important than her mission, and nobody could be in pain. Nobody could experience pain because she had experienced the most pain and nobody could tell her shit. And then you get to meet other people who were like in her group that are not her ex-boyfriend, because we already know Jake is her ex-boyfriend, who were part of her inner circle at one point. And they're not giving names, but one man talks about he was in a depressive episode. Like he wouldn't clean himself. He wouldn't do anything. And then as soon as he left Teal and he sought actual medical help from people who are trained, he was fine. And then one girl said that she was on the verge of suiciding herself and that she had to leave and get medical help. And now she lives a great normal life and she's fine. And she stays away from Teal and her videos and the people that work with her. And from there, we're introduced to the
biggest banger ever.
I'm telling you, this is the shit that really had me like, Yeah, there's something wrong with this woman. They're called
The non-negotiables.
and they're only for the inner circle. What are the non-negotiables? They're a list of things that are non-negotiable. It's in the title. And everybody agrees to them when they become a part of the inner circle. Number one, you can't put your own family first before the mission. And the mission is Teal, by the way. Whatever her mission or her cause is, you can't put your family before that. Teal has to come first. If she wants you, she gets you. That means that if she calls you at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're 2 states away, better get to driving, because what Teal wants, Teal gets. 3, the priority of the entire community is in the best interest of Teal. Everything else is second. This means that if Teal wants to up and leave where she's living, you gotta live in the close proximity of Teal because you're a part of the community. Whatever is best for Teal, that is what's best for everybody. You can't have, this is the part that really gets me. I mean, the family thing, already effed up. You can't have personal boundaries that affect Teal. So if you don't want her telling you about her chakra, about your chakra, if that affects her too much, can't have that. If you don't want her touching you, can't have that. If you don't want her talking to you just for a minute, or you don't want to have some space from her, or maybe a vacation, can't have that. Your personal boundary might affect her too much. And number 5, I'm going to read this from my screen. You will be in the world of fame, and your association is now the potential to be the biggest liability, and anyone introduced to Teal has the potential to turn on Teal, blackmail her, and rip the community apart. Put extra pressure on Teal or other members of the community. Your life will not even remotely resemble normal. If you want to have a normal life, choose not to be in the inner circle. So basically, you want to put your family first. You want to have personal boundaries that no matter who they affect, you can have them. If you want to have your freedom, don't choose to be in the inner circle. That's what I'm catching from this. It literally refers to being in the inner circle with Teal like joining the military. Your freedoms, your expression, everything gone. It's all uniformed. Whatever Teal wants, that's what Teal. Literally, it said what Teal wants, Teal gets. That's a direct quote. So from here, we get to learn a little bit about Teal's childhood. I really don't want to go too far into it because a lot of it is just triggering. The only thing I really want to talk about is the fact that she always refers to herself as not being like other people. That's her thing. She's not like other people. She's unique. No one is like her. The one thing that I wanted to mention from this part is that she refers to her own family as her enemy a lot of times, even though she says like we're trying to heal from it. They are my enemy and we're trying to get past that. And she's like, and a lot of people's own family is their enemy and they have a hard time accepting this, and I'm the one who can show them that.
Yeah, that sounds weird.
And then we start talking about Garcia. Garcia's whole section in part 3 is just very triggering. So
trigger warning.
The way that Teal should have did for that damn book. Trigger warning. Garcia is one of the people that has worked with Teal the longest besides Blake. I would say about 4 to 8 years. I can't remember the exact timeline, but we know that Blake has been working with her for like 13 or 18 years or some crazy ass number like that. So when she first started working with Teal, she mentioned that Teal would bring up her childhood a lot and that she felt like there was some trauma there that Garcia hadn't dealt with. And then Teal helped her remember all of these horrible memories about her childhood. She talks about how she was essayed by her own father when she was 4 years old, and that her mother had walked in on it and walked out, and that was the way of her father punishing her. I'm not invalidating Garcia's trauma, and while there's a lot that I can say about the things that she said in the interview, I would rather you guys watch it and form your own opinions.
Lit it on fire, and then they put the kids on top of it. So they would put every kid on top of it. That's, I think, one of the worst memories I have.
Why are they putting the kids on top of it?
It's a form of punishment? I don't know. It's more so... Here's the thing. I did start uncovering some of this stuff when I was with Teal, but I had stuff I didn't need to uncover.
And she talks about how at this point in time she wasn't really speaking to her family. She hadn't completely cut them off, and how they had come to where she was staying with Till and called the police and accused Till of abusing her. And that's when she had completely cut her family off 100%, and she hasn't had any contact with her family since then. This scene ends with like Till using like frog poison medicinally, and like Garcia getting sick and like throwing up into like a trash can that she's holding. And I know that frog poison is used in certain spiritual aspects as a medicine, and that they kind of produced it. They definitely darkened the image. They added weird music behind it, and the way that they edited it did make it seem like she was trying to poison Garcia, and that was another way of making her stay in her cult by like poisoning her and making her sick so that she would continue to turn to Till, because only lonely and sick people turn to Till. That's the vibe that I got here in this episode. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, because we really didn't talk about Juliana, but she was a part of this episode, we did have the weird stares of them editing the clips to make it seem like she was watching Juliana and watching Blake. But the one part that was kind of weird to me was towards the end, we're watching them have a conversation about Juliana wanting her and Blake to take time off to travel to Germany so that Blake can meet her family and meet her dad and meet her mom and her sister and everybody. Well, I don't know if she has a sister, but to meet her family. And basically them saying like there's no leisure time when they're on tour, and like a normal life is not compatible with what they're leading. So if you want a normal life and you want to be able to travel and do all of these things, then you guys need to take a step out of the inner circle. It's giving cult. Let's just be for real right now. You're telling me there is no time, 365 days a year, 52 weeks that I can travel by myself. We can't even take a week off. You're telling me you're doing that many completion processes and you're not burnt out? Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way. There is time in between that you're probably not doing completion processes and you're just making YouTube videos and planning for your next retreat and planning for this. Why can't somebody else? You got a whole manager. Why does Blake need to be there 24/7? This is part of the non-negotiables, you see?
Till comes first. What Till wants, Till gets. And Till doesn't want nobody to leave her side because she needs them all there.
For what reason? I don't know. Anyways, that's how part 3 ends. And so then we get into part 4, which is called The Adversary. I call it the fall from God. So this, the final episode starts out with Till actually meeting the private investigator for the very first time, because the person that the private investigator has had contact with has been Blake. And Blake is the one who actually gave her the non-negotiables too. And when she called him to say like, hey, these non-negotiables, they're not good. They don't make y'all look good. It's looking very much like a cult with the non-negotiables. He's like, yeah, I know, but we made them when we were young and it's not that big of a deal. And he was trying to make every excuse in the book, but also he was like,
yeah, they don't sound good. No, you're right. They definitely do not sound good.
The conversation that she has with Till is about the non-negotiables and like nobody being able to disagree with her, and nobody being able to have like personal boundaries. And Till's like, no, I'm all about questioning everything. I'm all about personal boundaries and living in your authentic truth. But it's like everything that she answers the investigator with completely contradicts everything that she's been saying in the documentary, and it contradicts her mission and it contradicts the non-negotiables. Once it ends and she says, I'm gonna give you like a drafted report and then you can let me know, you can call me back or you can't, she's like upset with her manager, and she's upset with Blake because she's like, this lady thinks that I'm running a cult and I'm not. She doesn't understand. This is the problem with people. They don't understand what they always want to judge me and they don't understand what I'm doing or who I am. And it's like, girl, you literally hired this lady and gave her all this access to y'all to do this investigation, and she's non-biased. She's hired by you, but like she's not just, she's doing her separate investigation away from you. That's why she only had this one meeting with you. And it's like, and you're mad by what she's coming up with, but maybe you should be looking at yourself if this is what she's coming up with, as somebody who is not a part of you, not a part of nobody else, coming into it and not knowing who you are and nothing that you do, and then just doing her own information. She goes on this whole rant about these non-negotiables, and she's like, I don't know what people want me to say. No, I'm not dedicated. No, I don't want my team to be dedicated. No, I don't want people to choose partners that are compatible with my mission because my mission is the most important. Like, girl, you're contradicting yourself again from the answers that you gave in the investigation. The sense is not sensing, the math is not mathing, okay? From there, they do this weird little thing where they're like, cut to the scene of Juliana and Teal just sitting in silence on the porch, just looking out into the horizon. And she looks at Juliana and she's like,
what would it take for you to leave?
and there's like so much silence in between, which you know is just edited just to make the scene intense. And Juliana's like, hold on, I gotta get it right in character.
The word that comes to me is alone.
And like then Teal just looks away and she says absolutely nothing. Do I believe that didn't all happen? Probably not. I think that she probably did ask her that question and Juliana answered, but I don't think there was all that weird, awkward, mysterious silence. And then suddenly they're sitting in a circle and Teal is talking about how she's angry because a personal truth isn't being shared. And then she looks at Juliana and she's like,
you feel like an enemy to me.
I mean, no.
You feel like an adversary to me.
And Juliana's like,
What the fuck does adversary mean? I'm from Germany, bro. I don't know all these damn synonyms.
and somebody looks at her and they're like,
Hey, it means enemy. You feel like an enemy. Teal thinks you're the enemy.
and Juliana's like,
What the fuck? Why am I the enemy? I'm married to your best friend, bro. I'm over here chilling. Why are you coming at me?
and she's like,
No, tell me what you actually think of me.
and Juliana's like, girl, I think you're powerful. I think you know a lot, but I don't think you're my enemy. So then Teal has everybody in the circle start telling Juliana what they think Juliana thinks of Teal. So they're like, you think that she's a bitch. You're jealous of her power. You think that she doesn't care about people. She's power hungry. You think she's manipulative. You think she manipulates with her sexuality. That's a big thing here. They really bring up the fact, Teal really brings up the fact that she's a woman all the time. She's like, people hate me because I'm a woman and I'm sexy and I have tattoos. And I'm like, no, people dislike you because of that damn video you made on walking through your own CSI. That's why people dislike you. Now, men, that's a different story. But people, women, non-binary, gender non-conforming, girl, we do not hate you because you're a woman. I don't hate you personally. I find I find all of this very interesting. From after all of these people go in a circle, and Blake even says like, damn, why are y'all coming at my girl like that? He looks at one of the guys, he's like, damn, you just thought of every negative thing that you could say and you just said it. Teal looks Juliana in her eyes and she's like, you think I support and add pain and suffering to the world? I'm an attention whore. I'm a narcissist. I control others and how they see things. I'm not nice. I'm masculine. I manipulate Blake. I'm tyrannical. I have the wrong values. I use people. I hurt myself and others. I'm power hungry. I surround myself with enablers.
I surround myself with enablers.
I surround myself with it. Okay, we got it. Very powerful, very meaningful mission. And it's like, girl, you just said all the negative things that you think about yourself and that you know the negative things that you're doing. And then you added that you're very powerful and you have a meaningful mission as like a threat and as a, I'm not going nowhere because my mission is too great. Like, I still believe in my mission. You named off the shit that you feel about yourself. And these people, because they know you, they named off the shit that you feel about yourself because they probably heard it from you once, twice, a million damn times. Y'all can't tell somebody how they feel. Blake looks so pissed off, and he's like, well, what can we do? We came here so that we can fix it. And Teal's like, well, I don't know how to fix it. I don't think this can be fixed. And Juliana looks like she's about to cry because she's like, well, I thought all y'all people were my friends. I thought you were my dog till the end. And now you're telling me that I hate all of you and I hate this lady and I think that she's a manipulator and I think all of this shit. Like, when did she say that? Give me the evidence of when she said it. After this, you just see a scene of Blake packing his shit up because he said, you're not about to do my wife like that. Him and Juliana pack their shit up and they leave. And I mean, there's just this weird scene of, you know, he had these koi fishes in the beginning in Teal's house because he was living with Teal. But nobody lives with her. And when he moves to his new apartment, they kind of died. I don't know if that was edited like that, if they died beforehand. I don't know. But, I mean, you had to let go of all that negative energy. That meant them fish, too. So sorry to them fishes. From here, we kind of transfer into a kitchen scene where right before Blake had ended up taking the very last of his stuff. And it's him and Teal talking. And they're talking about the info because Blake has the password to the Facebook. He's in charge of like all the social medias, all type of crazy shit that to me, it seems like Matthias should have been in charge with. But Matthias was not in charge with. He was letting Blake run the show and he was just doing some other stuff. I don't know. And Teal is pissed off because she's like,
this whole thing operates based on the 18-year promise, and you've broken my heart and you've lied to me. What about our promise? What am I supposed to do now?
And then she looks at this man and she tells him that he's weak, he lacks bravery and honor, and that he chose his bed and now he gets to lie in it. She goes on to say, I know what you think of me. You're leveling this judgment like I'm a narcissist and I'm a bitch, but you're an absolute loser. And I hope you never forget those words. And then even after she done broke this man down because he looks like he's about to cry. And he still stepped in to hug her and she does not hug him back. You just see her detached behind the eyes. She looks dead behind the eyes. She detached 100%. And then he says he loves her. And then he leaves. Well, he hugs Garcia and everybody else. And then he leaves. From here, when Blake steps back, we get to watch how she deals with this. They take this weird video of her running. And oh my God, she looked crazy as hell. They knew what they was doing there. They knew what type of, like, because she runs, she has perfect form. And I don't know if you've ever seen somebody who runs when they have perfect form, but their head does not move. They look insane. If you ever want to make somebody look like a serial killer, like get a separate shot of them, make them run and keep their head still. So their body is like this, but their head is like this. Just completely, it's not even bumping with the bumps. That looks weird. That looked like some editing shit, but no, she just has perfect form running. And from here, it's kind of weird because Blake makes this whole statement where he's stepping back and Teal is just going off about all the people in the comments that are supporting him and saying like, hey, we hope that you know, do well and like we're gonna miss you and like, you know, we're sad that you're taking a step back, but take all the time that you need. And she's like, oh, it's all the men in my comments and all these people, they don't even know what he did. If they knew what he did, they would hate him because he's a loser and da 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 da. She's going off about Blake all over again. To kind of end the documentary series, they ended on a weird note. First, she has this team meeting where she's like, we're here today because I'm not protected. I'm not protected enough. The non-negotiables, not enough. So I'm going to need you guys to come up with some rules that are going to keep me protected because as we see from what's going on here with Blake leaving, people are not allowed to leave. Okay, no, not. But, you know, I don't feel like I'm protected, right? And so basically, these people came up with the most craziest shit and it just re-sparks that thought in me that this is a cult. The inner circle definitely is giving cult because they were like, we're not going to have no children. The non-negotiables are non-negotiable and everybody laughs like that shit was funny.
That was not funny.
Them non-negotiables were scary. I was terrified. And that they put pressure on their partners to join and be okay with it, or they're not going to be with their partners. Yo. And then we get a little cut piece to Miss Investigator, and she talking about she sent her investigation in, but because she hasn't heard a response back in literally weeks at this point, she's thinking that her investigation has been shelved, and that she just ends it with talking about, yeah, I gotta move on, but man, I'm worried about Teal's followers because this lady, the noggin's not right. And then we just started back from the beginning where Teal is at one of her conferences. There's people all in the crowd, and she's asking people, how many people feel alone? And they raise their hand, and the lights come on to see like everybody had raised their hand, and Teal is kind of smiling, and she's back into it with feeling like she's the greatest in the world because she's helping people through their pain, or maybe because she's seeing people in pain. And that was fucking chilling. They did something with that ending. They definitely did. Considering that this video is almost 40 minutes long, and I have an hour-long video for the reaction, we're gonna make this 2 parts. So, bestie, I'm gonna need you to go to part 2, which will probably be posted a little bit after this, to hear about this reaction, because when I tell you you don't want to miss the shit that she said, you don't want to miss the shit that she said.